Hey, hey, what's up, y'all? This is Mike, aka Timothy Barron Authorized. And the reason for me doing this segment on my channel is I kind of got irked. I just got got tired of it. It's bothered me for years and years and years. But to illustrate, I'm coming out of the United States, Atlanta, Georgia. I was born in Chicago, so I'm gonna use a Chicago illustration. So in the 90s, there's the 90s Chicago Bulls, right? They did three peats for the championship. Okay, one year they won 72 games. Now, what if I were to come to you, especially you Chicago Bulls fans, those fans of those Jordan Pippen led Chicago Bull championship teams, and said to you, because you only won 72 games one time in the season, that's the only championship that should count. All the rest of them don't count. You think I was some kind of nut if you didn't do anything worse to me, right? But that's what, and we're going to get to who's doing it, because I'm going to read something to you. It's going to probably say it better than I can. But that's what people do to musical acts, especially here in the United States. They could have multiple hits, but because one didn't reach the level of their greatest hits, their greatest hit, because I think you could only have one greatest hit, they only had one hit. Let me illustrate this to you. So here we have the Wikipedia page. Yeah, I know it's a Wikipedia page. It could be doctored, but I think this one's pretty much on point, or at least is on point enough to tell you, to prove my point. Because notice the title, List of One-Hit Wonders in the United States, because I think the United States is the main culprit of calling people one-hit wonders, especially when they're not. They are also ones that use one-hit wonders, that term, in a derogatory sense. And why I say this, I'm gonna get to this article, but why I say this is because any of you are musicians out there, or just try to write a song and just try first of all, just try to get something on radio, period. Especially commercial radio. It's almost and especially in the United States, yeah, one mostly almost have to do shady things just to get on the commercial radio. Shouldn't say it like that, but it's true. It's basically, you have to pay. It's a lot of payroll and all this stuff. But anyway, I don't want to get all of that. But even the legit way, in fact, I got this right here on my phone. I just looked it up. It says Spotify is now home to more than 70 million tracks, with more than 60,000 uploaded to the service every day. Why I say that, not to make no political point, but why I say that is because of the fact that you think about how many songs are out there just to get on the Hot 100 chart, where there's 41 through 100, is an accomplishment. Think of it this way. In the United States, they love to make these lists of the top 100 NFL players, top 100 NBA players, and people love to get on that list. So it's, to me, it's no shame to hit. It's an accomplishment to hit it. So that being said, now let me get to this. It's a list of one-hit wonders in the United States. It says a one-hit wonder is a musical artist who is successful with one hit song, but without a comparable subsequent hit. The term may also be applied to an artist who is remembered for only one hit despite other successes, such as, and we're going to get to these, Take On Me by Aha in the United States, which came top in a Rolling Stone magazine poll to find the top one hit wonder. This list contains artists known primarily for one hit song in the United States who are described as one hit wonders by the media, even though they may actually have multiple hits. On point. On point. Notice it said the medias, because I'm gonna tell you this. Fans know. Fans will be. I had a case. I responded to a YouTube video, and it was one hit wonders thing, and it weren't correctly right. But it was most right. It only had two wrong that had people had one more than one hit. But somebody replied back to me, and I put in there that, yeah, I just said that, just that, hey, you're the best list I've seen because you only missed it by two. And somebody responded back to me, wrong mate. So I knew they were from another country. Wrong mate. Because this act had so many hits. I remember one right off the top of my head. I could tell, and see, that's the point. In the United States, you can have. I think the article is going to get to this. You can have more hits and all over the place, and not have one. Just only have one in one country, and that's cool too, man. So I feel y'all. I feel y'all. So don't come after me. I feel you. But let's get more into this article, because I like this article because at least it sets a criteria. Now, a couple things I agree with, and some of it I don't. So, it said the criteria: music reviewers and journalists sometimes describe a musical act as a one-hit wonder based on their professional assessment of chart success, sales figures, and fame. For the purpose of his book, The Billboard Book of One-Hit Wonders, music journalist Wayne Jancic defines a one-hit wonder as an act who has won a position on the Billboard's National Pop Top 40 just once. In his definition of an act, Jancic distinguishes between a solo performer and a group performance. Thus, for example, Roger Daltrey's "Without Your Love" is counted, despite Daughtry's numerous hits, as frontman for The Who. And a number of musicians appear multiple times, either with multiple bands, or as a member of a band, or as a solo artist. Eponymous bands are generally not separated. Thus, Charlie Daniels is not counted as a one-hit wonder for Uneasy Rider, and the hits of the Charlie Daniel bands are credited to him. Now, Fred Bronson, a journalist and former writer for Billboard magazine, in his book Billboard Hot 100 Hits, uses the criterion that an artist is ineligible to be categorized as a one-hit wonder if they have a second song listed on the Billboard Hot 100. So I agree with these first two things, because yeah, if you have a second song, look, and I'm not trying to cause no movement here, but it's just a fact. It's fact. There, especially in the 70s and the 80s, if you were in a certain genre, it was hard for you to get on the Billboard Hot 100. And so if you got on there one time, it was an accomplishment. So I'm talking about, yeah, the soul acts. What at that time they called it the soul charts. Yeah, they were fair because they wouldn't get played on pop radio stations. But it was a testament to them that they could even get on there because it's basically through just basically sales, really, for the most part. And then, and not just selling with them, but country artists, they suffered the same way. Oh, and jazz artists, oh my goodness, right? But anyway, go further. Now this one, now we're gonna start getting ridiculous. Okay, we're gonna get real ridiculous. I call this goalpost moving, or if you want to say, changing the rules of the game while you're playing. So here it says, which is gonna be right here. A disc jockey and music writer Brent Mann points out that some artists have been called one-hit wonders despite having other charting singles. In these cases, one signature song so overshadows the rest of the artist's discography that only that song remains familiar to later audiences. As an example, English-born singer Albert Hammond enjoyed success with It Never Rains in Southern California, 1972, rising to the number 5 in the US, but his follow-up single, I'm a Train, was dismissed by Mann as totally forgotten, even though it charted at number 31 in 1974. In another case, Southern rockers, I'm sorry, not Southern, I'm sorry, don't get me, is Scottish rockers Simple Mind follow their big hit Don't Forget About Me, appearing in the opening and closing scenes of the film The Breakfast Club, with Alive and Kicking, which peaked at number 3 in the US. Sanctify Yourself, which peaked at number 14 in the US, and All the Things She Said, which peaked at number 28 in the US. Yet, the band is remembered primarily for the first song. Now, it's a point here. I'm gonna get to the point. I got a comment for this. What really is the case, and people won't say it. So let's end this here. He said, on the other hand, some artists with long successful careers have been identified as one-hit wonders by virtue of having reached the top 40 of the Hot 100 only once. Consequences of Sound editor Matt Mellis lists Beck, Loser, and the Grateful Dead, Touch of Grey, as technically being one-hit wonders despite their large bodies of work. Entertainment Weekly mentions prolific artist Frank Zappa as a one-hit wonder because his only top 40 hit was Valley Girl in 1982. And so now these are all examples. They fall under the category. They didn't hit the top 40 but one time. Now they had Hot 100 hits, but they didn't have, a top 40. So, okay, well, we're stretching. But this one is crazy. This is goalpost moving at its finest here. I'm not Chris, whatever you want to call his name right there, because it kind of upset me, so I don't want to mispronounce his name. But Chris says that an artist can only be seen as a one-hit wonder if they have never had a second Billboard top 10 hit, if any subsequent top 40 singles were released within 6 months of their first big hit, and if the artist has not had 3 or more top 10 hits or platinum albums. My goodness. Great days, man. Really? Then they got the way he put it. Then you got a time limit to get you a hit, and then it's got to be a top 10 hit. You see, but now I'm getting back to the other point about them saying that songs remember. But you know why the songs are not remembered? Because the fans remember if their favorite artist have a hit. Because they bought it. Right. They bought it. They remember it. It's the way they do things now on the radio. You know this is totally programmed. So if they haven't got enough payola on there, they're not gonna fit in that program because they don't have no real DJs no more. They just program the computer and whatever songs come out, just come out. So if they don't want that song, other hit to be played, it's the media, it's the radio station that made people forget that they had other hits. See, but this explains it. But getting back to Aha, man, I'm gonna wrap this up. So Aha did have. I want to show their Wikipedia page before we take a chill, man. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I actually want to go to Aha page and look at their discography. And this is an example of, as the Rolling Stone said, that when they would, if you ask anybody in Europe and they told you that Aha was a one hit wonder, they'll look at you crazy. But it's a United States thing. So trying to get the discography. See, look at that. You got that's a lot that's a lot of reading there for someone who only supposed to have one hit, right? But anyway, um, bear with me a second. So here we go, singles. Look at this. Okay, so it has take out me. They tried to put it out first time, it didn't do anything. And then it was second time around, we got it right. But now look at all that. This is what they say. But notice still, they did have another top 20 hit. There it is, US top 20. So they had more than one top 20 hit. I mean, to me, that's pretty good if you consider, especially you're talking about 6,000 songs a day. Well, I know that was back in the day, but still, it was probably a lot of stuff coming out during that time. But look at all this. Look at it. Look how many number ones. Look how many number ones they had over there. See, it's a United States thing. Everybody else say, oh, they recognize them, but the United States, they can't, they close their borders. And that's what you'll find with a lot of them. So any of you out of country, don't get mad at me. I'm with you. I know what's happening. The other countries are more welcoming to our artists than we are to their artists. I mean, it's just being fact. But anyway, that's all I got. Peace out.